There's always a danger at 1-0 that you can lose things towards the end of a game, but they held on firm, defended well, and Timo Pukki, as you can see there, with the winning goal, which you'll be absolutely delighted with. But of course, defensively as well, another clean sheet, and that man, again, so instrumental in everything Norwich do defensively, and breaking things up, and then starting the attacks as well. Very, very good performance by him as well. And Janulis again settling in. Another decent performance by him on the left-hand side, just giving that balance for Norwich, I feel. Helping his other players, giving the opportunity to Campbell and Buendia to be able to move forward and use all their energies in attack. But brilliant performance by Norwich, really, considering the pressure on them. Results going Norwich's way again today. No more can ask for. And Daniel Farke's obviously, I'd imagine what he's saying to the ref is actually, you know, when you let a couple of those early fouls go, you know, because Rotherham potentially could have been down to 10 men at some point. He's probably just saying, look, you let a few of those early ones go when it should have been a booking, you know, things would have been a lot easier for Norwich come the end of the game. But a 1-0 win, Rob. Win's a win, isn't it? It's one of those things, you know, it wasn't a classic second half by any means, but from a defensive point of view, as much as the attackers would be disappointed they haven't scored goals today, defensively, the boys are going to be happy, aren't they? Clean sheets mean so much. They mean as much defenders as like attackers scoring goals.
Absolutely, yeah. And like we said at half time, the game should have been out of sight. It should have been out of sight at half time. It wasn't. Not as there was no clear cut. Pukki had one like one-on-one with the keeper, but that's when you need your defenders to deal with those, especially in the last 10 minutes, to deal with the crosses coming in. And I thought Hanley, all of them, to be fair, all the back four and Skipp. And McLean, won some fantastic headers from crosses coming in, because Rotherham put some real pressure on in the last 20 minutes, and they were all just like concentrating on putting long balls in the box, and that's where you stand up to a man. And I thought Norwich defensively did really well, especially in that last quarter of the game.
And is it a case of now, you know, as well as they played the last two games and had a little bit of a blip? One draw, one loss out of those previous three. You know, they get into the part of the season now where there's 15 games to go. It's ticking the games off, isn't it? It doesn't matter you win this 1-0. You've created plenty of chances. I suppose if you win this 1-0, you're not creating much, and you see some real threat from the other team, you'd be a bit more disappointed. But actually, they should have been out of sight at half-time, and they did control it. Yeah,
like I think Huck said early on in the programme, Rotherham are at the bottom for a reason. They're not a good team. You know what I mean? They're like a spirited team, and they have a go. Norwich, for that first 45 minutes, really put them to the sword. Anyone who was watching that game, if Norwich would have been 3-4-0 up, there would have been no complaints from Rotherham, but they weren't, and that was the fact of the game, and that's what gave Rotherham hope. And like I say, and the more it went on in the second half, they got the belief as well, of saying, listen, we got a chance, and they had a great chance. Max Aarons just stopped the shot on the line, so it's a win, mate. It's a win. It's not a bad performance. It was a good. That first 45 minutes was as good as they've played. You know what I mean? In terms of a team that's got a deep block, they made some fantastic chances. They never took those chances. But listen, it was just one of those days where we never hit the target. On another day, it could have been 3 or 4. But like you say, another game gone, one more win, 3 more points, 7 points in front. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, everyone's happy. Let's see if Hux is happy. He's out on the gantry. We'll catch up with him now. I think he might be regretting the fact he didn't put a coat on today, unless he's found one from somewhere. No, he hasn't. Is it a bit colder out there now, Hux, or are you feeling good?
It's lovely. Beautiful.
Well, look, it wasn't a brilliant performance second half, was it, in terms of an attacking sense? But Norwich did what they needed to do. They ground out the result. And as Rob has said, sometimes that's as pleasing, is it, to find a 1-0 result as it is to go and win 3, 4 or 5?
Well, it's a great thing to have where you can trust your back four and obviously 2 older midfielders that they're going to get your result. You know, they created one chance really, and Max Aarons made a great block on the line, but we were comfortable all the way through. I thought Skipp and McLean were absolutely outstanding from start to finish, and sometimes when you're not firing, if you don't concede, you've got a chance in every single game, and defensively this season we've been brilliant all the way through.
And just looking into attacking sense, Hux, Rob and I were saying at half-time, there's almost they don't seem quite clinical enough in that final third at times. It's almost like they're trying to do that final pass or that brilliant through ball, rather than sometimes being nice and quick and smooth and fast and just punishing teams. At times it seems a bit reluctant to kind of just kill teams off.
Yeah, sometimes it looks we try and be a bit too clever sometimes. A couple of chances second half, Pukki could have 4 goals there, and it wasn't just like a half chance. He had 4 clear chances, but so did Emi, so did Todd, and so did Vrancic. So it sounds daft. We could have won this game 5-0, and Rotherham would have been pretty happy with that. So, in a sense, it's disappointing we didn't get more goals, but You know, as a back four, the back lads and the goalkeeper will be ecstatic that they look like they're going to get clean sheets week in, week out.
And 14 games left now, Hux, and apparently 7 points clear at the top of the Championship now. Obviously, Swansea have got some games in hand. But as a player, the mentality now going into those last 14 games, when does it become a real reality? Like, when do you think this is is it the last 10 games where you feel, that's the real countdown? Is it still just game by game at the minute?
Nah, if you're playing there, you've played everybody now. So as soon as you've gone through the whole half the league, you've got to realise that we've got a better team than most teams in this league. It's a four-team league now. Who's going to win this league? And the way it's gone today with Swansea and Brentford losing, it's down to us. We've just got to tick off each game. You look at the teams we've played, we're comfortably the best team in this league, and it's just about proving it week in, week out. Yeah,
and Norwich are going into a good period now as well, because they've Ben Gibson apart, which is a slight back strain. Hopefully, be back for the coming games. They've pretty much got a full squad apart. Steepman's back in training as well. He played for the under-23s the other night. So Norwich are in a really good position going into this run-in.
Yeah, it couldn't get any better. Everyone's fit. Everyone's rearing to go. There's real pressure on Brentford now as well, because they've lost 3 on a trot. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next game. You just got to keep ticking off games off, like Rob said. And if you look at the teams we've played, I do believe we're comfortably the better team, best squad in the league. So it's down to us just to go and finish this off. Yeah,
positive as always, Hux. Thanks for joining us again, mate. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Hey boys. Cheers, Hux.
So we are going into 14 games now, Rob. As a player, did you as a player have a period of time where you thought, right, we're into the last 10. This is where we can start believing. When do you believe that time of the potential promotion?
10. There's still too many points to play for there, mate. Too many points. Like you say, and actually spot on. Norwich have played every team now. Yeah, I mean they're the best. They're the best squad in the division. So do you say it's Norwich's to lose themselves now? Maybe. But like I say, your Watfords and Swanseas and Brentfords are still going to keep believing. They're still going to sort of like keep chipping away. But if Norwich keep doing what they did today and win games, then all of a sudden the energy gets drawn out of those 3 teams below. Yeah. And they see, listen, let's go for the second place now. They forget the first place. But we're not there yet. But we're in a fantastic position.
Well, let's have a look at the table now. And as you say, I guarantee Brentford players, Swansea players, Watford players will all be looking at this tonight and they'll be going, damn, we've lost today. Yeah. And then they see Norwich win again. Even though it's 1-0 home to Rotherham, they're looking at it thinking, look, that gap again. Yeah. So it's just, is it psychologically a good place for Norwich to be in now? Because of all the doubters there was only, a week or so ago, all of a sudden you're 7 points clear again.
Yeah. I mean, the conversations between the Watford and Brentford teams will be saying, listen, it's between us and Brentford. Watford and Brentford are vying for the second division, the second place. Swansea will be looking and say, well, yeah, listen, if we win our 2 games in hand, we'll be second. If. Yeah, I mean, it's massive. They've got thumped today, 4-1 at Huddersfield. So we are in a position where we're saying, listen, we don't have to catch anyone up. We just have to keep consistent. We have to keep creating the chances that we made, especially made in that first half. Keep picking up the points, even though it's the odd draw. A point's a point. Yeah. I mean, we're going to get that between now and the end of the season. But like I say, and injury-wise, like you said, everyone is fit now. Steepman played in the 23s yesterday. It's a fantastic position. He has got a fully fit squad there to cope with the last 14 games. Fantastic.
Yeah, really, really positive. And we catch up with God himself now. Gossy, who's still in the Barclay for us at the moment. Gosh, you didn't have a huge amount to watch in the second half in terms of chances created, but just looking at the table now and going into these run of games, Norwich find themselves in such a brilliant position. As I said to Rob, as a player, when do you start to really believe? You've been there before, Gossy. You've played in good sides that have been at the top of the table. When do you start looking? And this squad that Norwich have got as well, they've been there before. They've got that experience of being in that position, and that must stand them in good stead as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. You get a lot of encouragement, you get a lot of confidence from this win today. It was a different type of win. They were tested in a different way. I thought Rotherham were exceptional with their work rate. Really put pressure on the back 4 or the back 6, and they stood up to that test once again and proved they were all very solid defenders. We got the win. Pukki could have had a hat-trick. Cantwell scuffed a couple, so they've got to keep working on their finishing. But 7 points ahead of anybody else is a dream position to be in. And when you look at Leeds, how they got up last year, how we got up 2 years ago, it was 90-odd points that got promotion and went up as champions. So you could say, look, we need to win 9-10 games out of the remainder, and we should go up as champions. But the pressure will just come from inside. There isn't anything externally. Hux has said it very well. We've played every team. I think we're better than every side. We've got a better squad, in depth as well. It's just making sure that you win matches. And the other positive, we've only lost one game here at Carrow Road, so that's another great thing.
Yeah, and in terms of defensive as well, Gossy, a clean sheet is so vital to a side, isn't it? Because when you're not hitting those targets and you're not getting those 3 or 4 goals that can make the game comfortable, defenders love it, don't they? So all the praise won't be going to Timo Pukki in there. That'll be going to the defenders and Tim Krul for keeping another clean sheet.
Yeah, they will, and you know that's their job. They're paid. They get paid to defend the goal and stop goals going in. That's what they do. That's part of their game. So everyone will get applauded today. A win is a win. I agree with that. But we could have made it and should have made it a lot more comfortable.
And Gossy, just looking from an attacking sense there as well, that, you know, what can you see on that pitch? You've had the beauty today of not having all those fans around you. You can hear those players coming towards you in terms of an attacking sense. Who's the most vocal on the pitch that you've heard today? What kind of voices have you heard?
Well, as I mentioned at half-time, Kenny McLean, Grant Hanley, definitely. Tim is always verbal. You can even hear him in the top of the stands when this place is full. So it's leaders on the pitch that you need, and I saw that today, especially in the first half, in their strengths when they threw the ball in, long throws and corners against. You really want people to stand up and take charge and do the job well, and them 3 players really, really did that. But the other thing I noticed today, Ollie Skipp was a terrific player. He was my man of the match, and he really does look Premier standard.
Yeah, he was top class. Gossy, look, thanks for joining us, mate. Take care of yourself. We'll see you again soon.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, Gossy.
And we have to talk about Ollie Skipp. You know, we've got to pick a man of the match today, and we both decided pretty quickly who that was. From the first minute when he recovered back, and we talked about it at half-time for Grant Hanley, right near the end of the game there, he anticipates the ball's going to get headed back in, drops back into a defensive role, and you know, gives away a corner which could have been a goal for Rotherham as well.
He's one of them players, like we mentioned at the start of the programme. You mean like if fans were in the ground, they probably wouldn't be looking at Ollie Skipp. They'd be looking at Pukki, Buendia, Cantwell. You mean like the show ponies of the team? No disrespect to them.
You love saying that, don't you? You love saying that.
But a real workhorse is like, you mean, Grant Hanley and Zimmerman in that last 10 minutes were winning fantastic headers. But throughout the game, you've got like an Ollie Skipp who gave a performance that was unbelievably good. It was one of them performances where you said, "Oh, who's cut that ball out? Oh, it's Oliver Skipp. Who's tackled that person? Oh, it's Oliver Skipp. Who was that person that saw that runner and stopped him getting the ball? Oh, it's Oliver Skipp. Who was that in the last minute, like you've just said? Who was the one in the 6-yard box who's got the ball, took the ball off the centre and took it out to a safe position? Oliver Skipp. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the way he has come on. You know what I mean? Throughout every game, it's like a 7, 8 out of 10. It's unbelievable. He's never going to get a 10 out of 10 because he's never going to score the goal. You know what I mean? But he's always going to get a 7.5, 7.5, 8 out of 10. But today epitomised all the superlatives, what we've all said here today, that how good a player he is and what a great job he's doing for the team. Yeah,
and you can go on Norwich City's Twitter feed to vote for the man of match as well. So make sure you go on there and see if you agree with me and Rob that Oliver Skipp was the man of the match today. And just talking about him again, Rob, you know, looking towards next season, you know, let's have a hope that we're going to get into the Premier League. You know, how do we get hold of a keeper player like that? You know, because as well as he plays for us, the more money he would cost, surely.
Hopefully, Stuart has done a great bit of dealing in that start of the season. We're saying, listen, if Oliver Skipp commit, he'll play all the games. If we get promotion, we want to sign him for
the deal's already agreed.
The deal's already agreed, because if it's not already agreed, the money that he probably would have cost at the start of the season to what he's going to cost at the end of the season is going to be a big difference, I feel, because he's done so well. And I think Tottenham will look, he's still Tottenham's player, so Tottenham will see how well he's doing. And Tottenham sort of like, they haven't got that real number 6. They got Højbjerg and Ndombele and whatever, like. But they would have seen Skipp performances week in, week out. He's a Premiership player and he's only 21. And I think like the good thing about it is he will get better. But what it is, he's got so much knowledge, and that is such an important position, you know what I mean, to stop teams scoring, to see that and starting counter-attacks off, like you said he did today.
So it would seem obvious then, wouldn't it, if Norwich get promoted, hopefully we all hope they do, if they get promoted, would it be the best thing for Ollie Skipp to spend a season out on loan at a Premier League side, for Spurs' point of view, to see if he can cope and have the same quality in the Premier League?
I mean, financially it would be fantastic.
I'm trying to talk it up, Rob. I'm trying to make it happen.
Listen, whatever you've seen with Ollie Skipp in this season, we've seen again today in abundance. You want Oliver Skipp in your team next year.
You can't teach the stuff he does, can you? There's that vision to be able to see stuff.
So definitely, I mean, he gets put under pressure. you know what I mean, the first time pass is not on, so he'll shift the ball 2-3 yards to play the pass. Whereas like people, lesser players than him, will just try and pass it through bodies, and it's never, a ball cannot go through a body. But he's so intelligent when he's got the ball. It's the first time pass. Now I have to have a little touch to shift it to the side to make that pass, or I have to drive forward in the first 4 or 5 spaces to get my the choice of pass open, more than one choice. He's got such a good knowledge of the game, both in possession and more importantly out of possession.
Yeah, for such a young lad as well. And we are back for Luton Town on Saturday the 6th of March, and that will be at 2:30 on air for a 3 p.m. kickoff. It's another win for Norwich City, another 3 points, another W, and they're sitting 7 points clear at the top of the Championship. We'll see you next time.